Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Now, as many of you guys will know, the SAT is quite unforgiving to most people when it comes to time management, and especially in the reading section where it takes a little bit more intuition to figure out what the questions mean and what the question is exactly asking. It can be quite difficult for people to try to complete every question on time and also maintain accuracy. So today I figured I would do a demonstration of sorts of how to be quick in my thought process during the reading section by doing a quick reading section speed run. Basically what I'm going to be doing is trying to do this test in 30 minutes or less, and also explain some of my thought process along the way of how to do the questions quickly, and how to skip over the bits you don't really have to read in order to get to the important bits. So yeah, I'm going to start this section. Welcome to practice test 10. It's 65 minutes, 52 questions. Once you start the timer, you can't pause. I know Khan Academy has its own timer, but I figured I'd show the exact time over here. So let's go start the timer. Session directions, I don't need to read those. Alright, so the first one is always going to be world literature. So this obviously looks like some fiction thing. Okay, looks like this entire section is talking about this Grace Spivey person going to Africa. Okay. So we're talking about people in this place, and she has come to this place. This is all talking about Miss Spivey, which we might use later, but I don't think the first question is asking that. Okay, there we go. So all 26 was across 7 grade levels, so it's definitely something students. Okay, cool. Question 2, 3-step is mainly presented as a most forgotten remote region, so it's probably a small rural town. Can be reasonably inferred from passage some of the people train station. Okay, I thought I saw this in the first paragraph. So it's like here. When folks are sweating through their shorts, they don't like to hear that this is nothing compared to someplace else. So it's a bad thing. So it's not sympathy, it's not disappointment because the reason is wrong. Embarrassment. I think it's this, because they're talking about them being uncomfortable and she's saying it's nothing. So okay, well, it's an evidence question, so it looks like it's lines 10, lines 8 to 12. Yes, lines 8 to 12. Okay. Question 5, fruitful intermission, line 22. So this is one of these questions where you can just skip straight to the place and you don't have to read anything else. Fruitful intermission in her formal education, and obviously that means that because none of these make any sense. Okay, right? Because fruitful means he benefited, so this is wrong because she didn't go to boarding school, so okay. Between Miss Spivey and Ralford. So I'm looking at here. This is Ralford. I don't know if there's any other Ralfords. I'm not seeing the answer in this. Here's also Ralford, but he didn't do anything, so it's probably here. Let's look at the choices. Suggests that she has an exaggerated view. Establishes friendly dynamic. No, not really. Introduce Ralford as a precocious young student. No. And definitely not that. No, so it's probably this. Oh, no, wait. No. It says here that she expected we had all heard, so she has an exaggerated view. Okay, cool. Third paragraph, what is the narrator most likely suggesting by describing Miss Spivey as having wandered? Line 33 is here. Marched, line 40 is here. So basically what it's saying is she wandered into a lecture by this guy and he inspired her and she went to this place. Okay, so it's here because she didn't necessarily mean to encounter this guy, but after meeting this guy, she was like, wow, I'm inspired. So that's how it goes. Question 8. As a direct result of talking with a woman at the WPA, I saw that earlier. Question 9. She had seen camels. I haven't seen camel anywhere up here, so it's probably down here somewhere. And she did go to Africa, right? So, okay, camels here. We all hunted for a minute, thinking hard, so they didn't know what camels were, so baffled. There you go. And it's here. Okay, next. Main purpose of the passage is to, okay, so this looks like social science because it's talking about mass transit. Okay, this looks like I actually have to go through the whole passage, at least quickly, so what it's basically saying is because people want to drive, building new mass transit might not actually make the problem better, it might actually make it worse. So, let's see. No, not necessarily. Sort of, but not really. I think it's this. I think it's this. Because it says here, right? Has been the ultimate finite tolerance for long annoying commutes. I think it is anyways. I'll come back to this maybe. Which choice best supports the idea that the author assumes that all things being equal, people would rather drive than take mass transit? Okay, this is like in the first line, so a group that historically has included, yep, there you go. As used in line 7, backed up mostly means supported, good. First paragraph, author concedes that his recommendations are not popular but necessary, so not widely supported. Based on the passage, how the author most likely characterized many attempts to improve traffic. So the thing is, he's not really trying to say that all of these attempts are bad. He's just sort of saying that they're not enough by themselves. So I think it's definitely not that. It's definitely not that. I don't think it's this, so it's probably this. I think it's said somewhere as well. Okay, there we go. The evidence question. That means a new trend. Yeah, see, there you go. That means a new trend system has to be backed up by something that impels complementary reduction in car use. So, okay, but that's not the answer to the question. That tolerance has grown in recent decades. No. 25. Yeah, there we go. If in a misguided effort to do something of environmental, there you go. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Question 17. According to a passage, reducing commuting time for drivers can have which of the following effects? That means that traffic congestion can have environmental value since it lengthens commuting times and doing so discourages proliferation of still more energy-hungry subdivisions by indirectly encouraging people to live still further from their jobs. So I think it's here. Because if traffic gets better, drivers would like to, it says there, right? I'm pretty sure it says here. Yep. Okay. Line 56. Promotes transit means advocates. According to figure 1, how many vehicles travel on the altered road through Southampton city centre before the route was altered? So 5316, good. Do the data in figure 1. Okay, let's see. Let's read the data first. So basically, this looks like. So this road has been altered. So traffic has dramatically decreased on this road, but it hasn't necessarily decreased on the other roads, or increased or decreased. So it is a net reduction in traffic. So basically, the author's argument is that, okay, there's also that. The author's argument is saying that making driving less agreeable would be good for the environment because it discourages driving. That's what his argument is. So I'm pretty sure it's this. Because all this is wrong and that's wrong. So, but the reasons are wrong. So, figure 2, the engineer surveyed the most skeptical of the idea that. Okay, so figure 2 is here. change when they travel the means of traveling. Okay, this matches that, so we just need to find the lowest one. I think it's the driving style, because that's the lowest one. Yep, cool. Okay, next one. Hi everyone, it's my face again. So, as you guys can see, in the first two passages, I've finished both of them in pretty much exactly 9 minutes, slightly over 9 minutes. I think it was like 9 minutes and 10 seconds or so. But yeah, basically, pretty much you don't have to be that quick. I think 9 minutes for one passage is already pretty good. So you don't have to finish one passage in 4.5 minutes if that's what you're wondering. But yeah, I was able to do it pretty quick and with good reasoning. And if you guys want to see any specific questions in these two passages, like if you guys want to hear me explain any specific question, you can leave it down in the comments and I'll try my best. But since I was trying to be quick on here, I don't think I really explained my thought process as well as I could have if I was taking it a bit slower. But yeah, I'm not going to upload the entire like 20 minutes of me doing the test, but I did finish pretty much exactly on 20 minutes. So if you guys want to see that, I'll leave like a link to an unlisted video in the description if you guys really want to click on that. But yeah, you guys can see that when I was doing my test, I didn't really like thoroughly read through the passages necessarily. What I was pretty much doing is sort of glancing over everything as the questions go on and sort of filing away where chunks of information is. So I'll know that pretty much in the first paragraph. Maybe it's talking, like, for example, in the first one, where it was with literature, we're talking about the Miss Vivi character. Pretty much, I glanced over the first couple paragraphs. I was like, okay, first two paragraphs talking about Miss Vivi, and pretty much in the third and fourth paragraph, they start introducing the students and the interactions between Miss Vivi and the students. So I didn't read all the details, but I pretty much get an idea of where the information is going to come from if I do need them, and then I will go over to the questions and I'll be like, okay, this question is asking about, for example, there was a question about what does this interaction between Miss Vivi and Ralphard serve to show us, and I'll know that, okay, well, this is talking about between Miss Vivi and the student, so the information will be where she is talking with the students, and I know that because I glanced over it shortly and I know that the information is going to be in that section. So that's when I'll actually look over the information super specifically in order to make sure that I get the question right. But without looking at the questions, I won't read through the whole thing as thoroughly as maybe other people do, because I don't think it's necessary. You're just doing a test. You're not trying to write an essay or anything. You don't have to have a thorough comprehension of the whole passage, unless it's a question that asks about the main passage, which we saw in passage 2 on the public transit one. The first question was, what is the purpose of the main passage? And I actually had to read through at least most of the thing except for the charts a little bit more carefully, because the first question was asking about the main passage, and I was like, so in that sense, because I don't have any idea what the passage is talking about, I would have to read through the whole passage in order to get the idea, which is why the first question took a little bit longer than pretty much every other question. But for the general questions that aren't really, like, doesn't really require you to have an understanding of the whole passage and only requires you to remember where localized information is and find it effectively, because it is evidence-based reading and writing, so every question will have some sort of direct evidence that points at it. You don't have to read through the whole thing extremely thoroughly. You just have to read through it. You just have to sort of glance across it and remember where chunks of information are, so you can come back to it later when you actually need the specific information from these chunks. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do reading really quickly, and I mean, I don't think there's any sort of special technique. You don't have to be super smart to do it. You just have to get used to controlling yourself and not going through the entire reading bit, because I managed to start doing this after like doing a lot of practice. So if you guys do enough practice, you guys are probably able to do it. You don't have to aim to be as quick as me. I feel like probably I process information in these passages a bit quicker than most people, but like 9 minutes for one passage is good enough. So if you guys want like a sort of speed indicator on how fast you should be, 9 minutes is really good. If you separate out the time evenly, it should be around like 11, 12, 13 minutes per passage. But since you want to leave time to check your answers later, 9 minutes per passage is pretty good. So yeah, that's how I did the reading section in 20 minutes. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you guys want to see the entire test being done, then I will leave a link to that in the description. It's an unlisted video, but you can click on it. And yeah, leave a like on this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh yeah, also if you haven't checked out my SAT video, you can do that as well, because I give a lot of really helpful tips there. But yeah, bye!